Yay, we're live. Okay, so welcome to possibly our last call for this round of the planner party. This is the shop with me, and I'm Alix, Kathleen Tracy, and all right, let's see. Can you guys see me? I'm gonna see if it's working on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're gonna start with the prayer and a meditation. And let me stop video just so we have more. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yay. Okay, so let's just center, ground, pull your energy back, pull your feelers back from your day, from your night, from any dreams you've had. Just pull your energy back and center yourself. And let's just ask for guidance to come through us today. So you may have things that I really want this to be participative, where you might put things in the comments, you might add even on the replay your experience of the things I'm going to mention. So you may get wisdom to flow through you. So let's open our aura and open our heart, open our crown, which is such a powerful point of receptivity. So you want to stay an open channel. And what happens is when we're horizontally kind of in the grind, trying to make things happen, we forget that we have access to our light body, to calling things in through our feelers, to being one with them before they show up, right? So breathing into that awareness of your light body. This is your energy body. This is your tallness, your auric field, asking for your higher self to come in, your higher awareness, and to really get through as much healing, transformation, and downloads as you're meant to get today. Anchoring the vibe, like your next level vibe, next level identity. And I'm going to talk about that today too. So there's a bit of a presentation. It's going to be a bit like slides today, but I'm also going to make sure you get me. And you also just get a lot of heart energy coming in. So as you look at any of the slides, just try to stay aware of your vertical connection to source and really keep pulling that into your heart. Keep pulling for guidance, for truth, for awareness. You'll hear me talk today about conditioning versus absolute awareness. So conditioning is, it will come in like the thoughts we've had in our head on repeat from our parents, from society, from everything we've learned. And then there's absolute truth and awareness. And sometimes we make decisions like about ourselves and about what we can do and who we can be from conditioning and not actual truth. So we're going to kind of try to break through that today. I was going to announce the giveaway winners. I'll announce some, but the little thing that I used to do the giveaway wasn't working right tonight. So I'm gonna go live again tomorrow. No one has to be, but I'll videotape myself announcing all the other giveaway winners. Everyone that I post today, that from the testimonials you guys left to me, you guys get one of my RTT recordings. So I'm really excited about that, because I can't wait to hear how it's like a self-guided RTT where you go back to scenes around clients and being magnetic to clients, and then you get an audio that's been really amazing for my current clients. So I'm excited. All right, to stay on track, I'm going to go look at the slides, because otherwise, you guys know me, I'm going to be going on magical tangents, which most people like my magical tangents, but okay. Present full screen. Okay, hang on. I got to share my screen before I do that. Okay, here we go. Yay! Okay, so welcome to our planner party. It's been all about sisters who plan together, win together. How does this actually work? Okay, so if you're watching this, and I know some of you ladies are joining a little bit towards the end of the planner party, but if you stick around, I'll show you how you can stay longer and how you can continue to do this with us. So it's been the one and only daily planner that uses your intuition, neuroscience, and nervous system regulation exercises so you can really trust yourself to get it done. One of the big things about learned helplessness in business and in sales is we don't have self-trust. We're like, well, I've said that I was going to do it a million times and I somehow struggle. So what's more familiar is the struggle. So what I really want to do with the Planet Party is really show you that you can hack your nervous system and your mind and use your intuition to get things done. And you guys left me some pretty amazing, awesome stories of how you made it happen. So if you haven't yet and you're watching this, go to this website to sign up, because then you can get email updates for any time I go live, anytime I'm doing anything. That way you guys get in the loop. Okay. All right. Okay, so super quick, this is me. I'm Alex. I am a freedom business mentor. I love walking shoulder to shoulder with women who are really ready to up level. So my gift as an intuitive is I really see where women are meant to be and where they're holding themselves back. And we go straight to that. So I reverse engineer, I pinpoint, the first big thing that needs to go so you can leverage and have like, greatest impact for the least amount of effort. We use your subconscious mind, we use emotions, we use intuition, but we really regulate your nervous system, because I've noticed that if anyone has undiagnosed post-trauma from any childhood adverse experiences, like even getting a beating from your dad or mom, any of that can leave you really scared to grow. Okay, so I created a ping pong sisterhood and many, many, many other courses. I've been doing this work full time since 2009. So, and I've had an established business since 2005. So I've been doing this for a long, long time and I love it. I don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon. So you guys all know this, that all of you live, you know this, but I've been a healer. So since 2009, my first sort of name as a healer, the name I received as a spiritual teacher was Daniel Dove. So you might see a lot of stuff from me as Daniel Dove. I was an angel therapy practitioner, and I struggled completely all the time with learned helplessness, but I really leaned on my connection to the divine and my angels to help through those times in my life. But I had undiagnosed post-trauma that I pretty much managed with meditation, but it would still flare up. I cleared energy for myself and my clients. I manifested a lot of clients all over, and I've been able to stay, employed, self-employed since then. And then I became a mom in 2011. I had a near-death experience at the birth of my son. And then the post-trauma happened all over again, and the learned helplessness all over again. And it's been a lot of like ups and downs and losses, and more losses of like homes and things, relationships. And I just kept identifying as someone who lost. I just lost my parents when I was little. I was an orphan really early on. And then I was like, I need to heal this learned helplessness. And it's really, you guys will hear, I'll state the 3 phases of learned helplessness. And literally, I got them as a download. And also when I worked with clients, I could tell where people were at. And I decided to heal it in 2021, just when I was doing a lot of archetype work, a lot of ping-ponging archetype work, teaching this, working with a lot of clients and realizing, oh, other people keep having the same beliefs. It's not just that I'm not enough. It's not just that I'm afraid I don't belong. There's an actual part who's constantly saying, I cannot do this, right? No matter what I do, I'll never make it. There's no use. This won't lead to anything, right? So I bought, like, the way it showed up for me is I bought a ton of programs and never finished them. I paid for ClickFunnels to have funnels for like, I don't know, 5 years and never had a single funnel, right? Like, because the learned helplessness is like, well, other people succeed, but I don't. Okay, so we'll go deeper into that today. If you resonate, I love you. Let's have compassion. Like, there is a way out of this, and just know that just naming it and us talking about it can really, really help. So And Lisa and I were on the phone last night, ping-ponging and talking about LH, which is what I'm calling it for just having it be quicker. But pretty much since I healed it, my business year over year went up 73% in 2022. And if you saw what I did in 2022, I traveled most of the year. I was in Costa Rica, I was in Vegas, I was all over Europe. Like I just kept moving around a lot with my son, and I'm still raising my son by myself, so for the most part. Okay, so today, how to win your tomorrow, we're going to go quickly over what worked so you guys can really anchor into that. We're going to go over the 3 phases and the pillars to overcome learned helplessness, and I'll tell you some special super fun offers that you guys can hop in soon. Okay. So do you know about yeah, you know how they talk about in corporate the income glass ceiling? Does that resonate? How, they say, oh, I can't, there's a glass ceiling, I can't move up, even not just your income, but your position. And what I've realized working with a lot of women is there's also not just a ceiling, but there's a wall to just moving forward. So here we are, we want to be here, and there's just this sense of pushback. And my job has been to like create a door where there's the wall. Okay, so just remember that, because I'll talk a lot about when you name the thing that's bugging you, you can turn it into a door instead of a wall that you can walk through, but you've got to be able to name the wall. Like if you're trying to say, oh, there's no wall, it's not really there, well, you can't create the door. It's like you're trying to not see the wall. But if you actually name the wall, or you'll hear me talk about it as the bottom of the pool, and you can push off and get out. So naming it will heal it, okay? All right, so yeah, you try to work on something, and let me know, ladies, in the comments, but you try to work on something and you've got this pushback, right? You're like, no matter what I do, I can't win. No matter what I do, I can't do it, yeah? So just naming it will heal it. Oh, it's pushback. It's internal resistance. It's actually, it's normal. A really fun way to quantum leap is, can my nervous system accept the end result of what I'm working on? So if you're working on writing a book, you're working on creating a course, you're working on a one-on-one offer and selling it at a higher level. Let's say you want to sell a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 offer. But when you feel into that, your nervous system collapses and goes into like fight or flight. Then that's where you got to start, because you want to attract the clients. Until your nervous system can feel safe, your mind is going to protect you and keep you away from working on the thing. Okay. So if your nervous system feels safe and regulated, it will let you work on the thing, which you guys all saw in the planner party. But if it doesn't feel safe, it's going to create like procrastination, clean your house, go grocery shopping, self-doubt. No matter what I do, it won't work, anxiety and helplessness, okay? So it really comes down to, when I visualize the end result of my goal, do I feel safe? Is my body feeling calm? If it isn't, that's where you got to start there. And I'll show you how to do it today. Is this helpful? Do you guys feel like, yay, I feel seen? Okay, now the next thing with trying to push through a project and not having your nervous system be on board is you will not have as much intuitive like awareness. Like, when I tell you to open up, connect to source, stay connected to your higher self, when your nervous system is scared, it's going to shut down, and we become really tight and small. Can you guys think of a moment when you had to give a presentation, or you were trying to push through a project, or like write the email or come up with a freebie, and you couldn't think of anything, but your energy and your body was tight and closed instead of really open? So again, a really good thing about clearing out, thanks for the comments, ladies. Yeah, for clearing out, like knowing how to work with your nervous system will increase your intuitive genius. Okay. So then let's go a little bit into when we have a desire and then we loop to frustration. I want to name it again, because when you can name this, you can heal it. And again, like I've worked with thousands of women over the years, hundreds and I don't know how many hours. And this, if you can know that it exists, you won't feel as lost in it, okay? So we start with the desire, like, yay, we have the calling of our heart. We have like a spiritual calling. We want to help more people, and we get the hit and the download and the desire. And we've got energy for it, right? But then there's that wall. Like I said, there's a wall of self-doubt, some helplessness comes in, and it's at any level. So you may get it at the beginning, in the middle, or right before you hit the gold. Like you could be 3 feet away from gold, and that's when this starts. Okay, so just be aware that it can be at any point. Like I was in some helplessness a little bit today with the presentation because I'm not used to doing these. I'm usually like, I just talk and channel and walk you through the experience without slides. But sometimes it was like beginning, middle, and end, or it can show up at every level. Okay, but I had my secret weapon to get me through it. I'll share with you what it is in a minute. So we have an idea, we start working on it, we have the wall of self-doubt and helplessness, and then the nervous system is triggered. Like, ooh, I don't know, and there's internal resistance. Okay. Then you have something called the biology of helplessness. I came up with that, maybe it's a thing. But it's where you Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about quit the habit of being yourself, which is actually when our body has memorized a an emotion over and over again, and it's become like a very sticky recurring emotion, but it's become what our cells, our little cute tiny little cells with little eyes, they look like marbles, they keep going back to the same feeling that's memorized. So helplessness. So what really helps is when you're like, oh, it's not that the situation is really triggering. It's that I go back to what I know, which is anger, helplessness, grief, guilt. Yeah. Uh, okay, I'm just telling women on what subgroup that we're on. Okay. So biology of helplessness, it then creates the belief. No matter what I do, it doesn't work. But it starts at the level of the cells, and it's a cellular memory. So I've had a client recently who actually went to 4 Joe Dispenza live retreats. And she told me recently we were on a Zoom call. She said, until you walked me through this cellular detox, like the cellular pivot, like I teach the pivot exercise with your cells. She's like, I never understood Dr. Joe Dispenza's like theory on this, like, quit the habit of being yourself. So I was like, wow, I'm really honored that, you really got it, because it's really changed everything. I heard his book and then I did it. I actually implemented it and then taught it. And then people are really getting some major transformation. So we end up in frustration, self-blame, and guilt and shame. Again, it's not who you are. It's just that the cells have memorized it. And then, do you know what the number one emotional block to receiving money, receiving clients, the number one emotional block is women going back to guilt and shame. And what usually triggers them back to guilt and shame is motherhood or relationships, right? We think we're not doing good enough. We think we're not doing enough. So, children who are not doing well, we're going to take the blame. We're going to put it on ourselves. So all of this can be cleared up, okay? So that you don't, I don't usually go into this now, but like we manifest situations that put us back on this freaking loop because it's familiar, And if we were not going on this loop, we'd go on a much better loop, which is I have a desire, I trust myself, I go for it. I continue to hold the desire and I trust it and believe in it and I hold it long enough for it to freaking manifest. So I didn't create that loop, but you guys get it. So winners never quit, but they do stop doing what doesn't work. Okay. So you want to listen to your heart and trust yourself to get it done. But there's that freaking loop of anxiety and self-doubt. Yeah. You have more evidence of procrastination rather than execution and success. So if you're watching the replay or you're live now, let me know how true that was for you before you started working with me, or how true is it now as you met me and you haven't worked with me, like how true is it that you'll have a desire, you want to get the certification, you get your certifications in a modality, but then it's like, oh, it's heavy, I'm not going to make it. And you kind of have plan B. You're like, well, I'll go get a job, or well, I'll make the man the plan, he'll help me, whatever, we do as women to like be like, maybe something will come of it. You let me know if you can tell me like your number, kind of where if this is familiar and if you feel like, yeah, 10 is like, yes, that would happen all the time. 0 is it's completely gone, or 5 is it's still on and off a little bit. Where you have that, there was a time, you guys, when I was one of the part that's really hard with learned helplessness is it can show up after you've had a really successful career. So I've had women in corporate who've made multiple six figures and they're like, Alex, how come I cannot translate, take all the success I've had in corporate? How come I can't put it into this business? Why is it so much harder? What's hard about LH is that it it can happen after you've had so much success. So you feel really dumbfounded and you've got confusion. Like, is something wrong with me? How come I could and I can't? I must be the problem, right? We start thinking it's us. Currently panicking, plan B planning. Yeah, and it's okay. I mean, you're a mom to two kiddos and you've got to have plan B if you want, but stay open to source, work through the fear inventory, ping pong as much as you can with somebody who knows how to ping pong with you, because that will at least get you to see, feel a better plan, you know? So hopefully we can hold your hand through some of these transformations. Yeah. Okay, so does this even work? Like I have some success stories to share because it really increases that oxytocin good hormone of like, ooh, sisterhood. If it worked for them, it can work for me. So Laura's amazing. She was in my Awakening Heart Mastermind a few years back, but she says it's hard to put into words exactly what Alex can do. There aren't really any words that do it justice. She's an angel and incredible what she does. She has this amazing way of helping you find all the painful points that are holding you back. And then she gently but firmly helps you release them. I don't think I realized just how much pain and fear I was carrying when I started in my journey with Alex, but slowly and surely it is coming up and then just vanishing. I feel a million times lighter. I'm finding myself and reconnecting with my life in a way I hadn't thought possible. Okay. Then she went on to have absolute financial freedom. She was not financially free, but she ended up being able to really manifest what she wanted, which is her and her husband no longer had jobs. They had a thriving business as accountants, but they worked for themselves. Moved to Australia for like a whole year, I think, or I don't know how long they moved. They're in the UK otherwise, and she's really, really happy. She was very triggered by her son being sick at school. There was just a lot of things as a mom and as a wife and all the things we cleaned up. So that was really fun. Okay, so the key to regulate your nervous system is, and to really overcome learned helplessness, is you've got to be prepared. You've got to start with the end in mind, right? So to give you an example, it's like that you're moving in 3 months. You can start clearing your oppositions to moving now. So your reservations, your aversions, your thoughts, your worries. The things that our mothers never taught us is they just taught us to worry and like the end. We're just going to worry. But what you can do is clear the worry and then come up with a much better feeling thought that ends up manifesting. Yeah. So plan tomorrow today is what we did together in the planning party. And if you're watching this and you're like, I want to keep doing this with you guys in the group, then I'm going to tell you how you can. It works because it regulates your nervous system ahead of the situation. And it uses neuroscience to see and feel things into being before you do it. So your mind is like, oh, she's visualized this for tomorrow or next week. So I'm feeling pretty safe doing it because I've seen her do it. It's always going to be easier for us to do what we've visualized ourselves doing. This is what athletes do to, finish the race or to win games, is they really train their mind to see it. And even to see the steps. So if you know you need to be taking on the role of someone who's creating content for your clients, then you can just at least visualize yourself creating content and then regulate your nervous system. So we also had a sisterhood, which I know you guys loved the group energy. You told me that was awesome. It's like, because loneliness is so real in this industry, loneliness and isolation, right? We are very determined to succeed. So we'll stay home trying to work and not really have enough oxytocin energy from sisterhood. And it freaking worked, right? So Jessica, thank you for your feedback. This has been an amazing life week because of this I think you meant live week. I don't know. Life week, yeah, because of this gorgeous inside and out human. Planner party workshop. Her work is to help us do work in an inspired, resistant, free, time collapsing way. Okay. And then I loved it that you guys, some of you made your own planner based on the one I shared. I love it. Christina and Dorothy also, you guys have been enjoying it. Okay. So if you just joined us, stay tuned to continue to plan tomorrow today with us. I'll share with you how we can do that together. So it's just a super affordable, small special. I recommend, if you haven't yet, you take the quiz from, it's in the Facebook group. The Facebook group's going to be open till probably Tuesday next week, so after Easter, maybe a couple days after that, and you take a quiz to see if you're more of a rebel, an obliger, upholder, or questioner. And this is from The Four Tendencies. It's a book. I'm spacing out on her name, but it will come back. Gretchen Rubin. Yeah. Okay, so super quick. I've already talked about the neuroscience. We plan, we see, we feel tomorrow today. That's why it really, really works. And you can become more and more like the woman you want to become by doing this. So this is also helpful for your 2.0 identity, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, for overcoming learned helplessness. All right, I actually totally hack happiness hormones, because oxytocin, usually they say, it's the hormone for like when the mother breastfeeds the child, it's the love hormone, but I've actually heard and actually have experienced that it gets as intense and powerful when we're among sisters, like girlfriends, laughing, connecting, talking. It is not just lovemaking, you guys. Oxytocin is the bomb. It's a hormone that actually, it's unlike all the other hormones, because all the other hormones, when they get released, they stop producing that hormone. It's like done, right? But the oxytocin hormone, actually, it's like it's a loop where the more it releases again and again and again. So this is why you have people who do laughter yoga. Like one person starts laughing, and at the beginning it's fake laughter, and then they all start laughing, and you start laughing and laughing, and it builds. So it's like a really awesome hormone. You guys can research it, but it's one of the few hormones that have a positive feedback loop. That means that the release of oxytocin leads to actions that stimulate your pituitary gland to release even more of it. Okay. And actually, you don't need to, the man's not the plan. I'm the plan, because sisterhood can actually really release it and plan it, like plan some sisterhood time, live face to face, right? Also. Okay. So that's what we did. We had regular calls. And you guys, I do regular girlfriend calls, sisterhood calls, even when I do one-on-one. So even if I walk someone through a one-on-one private experience, I always still have them on the group calls. I still have them ping pong with each other. It's the best way to create momentum and sisterhood. Okay. So come Monday, Tuesday, the resource page is going to go away. So get in there and use it as much as you can until then. We identified the 3 fears. So these are the 3 jars. This is what will regulate your nervous system, is to go back to when you felt love, approval, control, safety, and teach your cells how to go back to it and pivot. It takes a little bit of like practice. And once you know how to do it, it's amazing, because you can be stuck in a sticky recurring emotion like guilt and shame, and know that you get to get your little cells to swim to the opposite emotion. And you said I did it on the call last night, which was so cool. And you were like, ooh, I feel champagne high, right? Like sparkly. So practice, practice, practice. And the resource page is then going to go into the membership sisterhood. So FYI, it will stay up, but for the membership. So thank you, Jessica. She's absolutely loved all the super simple tips and tricks, the meditations and clearings, and you've accomplished huge tasks. I feel on top of my day, energized and free. And even if it's not every day, what the important thing is about the planner party, ladies, is that you have more and more evidence that you're making progress. And if you've ever read Atomic Habits, I think it's what's the percentage? Like 1% shift a day leads to a 37% shift over the year. I'm not getting the percentage right, but even if you just did it 3 times a week, you would start to memorize success in your cells, which is priceless. All right, then on the resource page, you've got your blessing ball of light. This is where you use your spiritual energy body, your intuition to pre-program bless tomorrow. So people have done this for like happy weekends, happy vacations, and fun dates. And it's like being a little bit of a witch, like you're blessing your upcoming reality with fun vibes. And when I did this, oh my gosh, we laughed with my son on the train nonstop. People around us were like, what's going on? Because I kept blessing Paris. You guys saw my pictures in Paris. I blessed Paris. It created time warps where like we did so much in so little time because yeah, the blessing ball of light is incredible. Absolute magic. Yeah. And you can like, I'm thinking of Jessica's like plan B. You can bless yourself tomorrow, today, as you work on something, right? Just a little something to think about. A bit more wins, you're operating at your light body, things will manifest. So the other thing I haven't told you guys, but in the blessing ball of light, you can put something that you want to see manifest. So clients coming in, going to the gym, things that you're planning on doing, you can bless them in the blessing ball of light. And it's all on the resource page. So I made up a new word today. It's heal and help together. Help. So if you still feel a bit stuck, I have a fear turnaround, which is a super quick journaling exercise. And it also will help you have better feeling thoughts. If you're like, hey, the audios aren't doing it, I need one little extra thing, then you have the fear turnaround exercise. Okay. So what made you have some wins in the last couple weeks is you tapped into your intuition, you connected to source, you prepared and planned, you reclaimed your 3 jars, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and you hacked your brain's defense mechanism, okay? So that creates a feedback loop of success and self-trust. For anyone who's ever identified with learned helplessness, even having 1 or 2 threads of like, ooh, I've got some success and self-trust, even if they're small, it is so important for like the biology of the learned helplessness to start to pivot to another possibility. So it's like, because once you know what success or self-trust feels like, you can go in your body and teach all of your cells what that feels like. I got this. I know I can do this. You start to have really innate self-trust, which is super important. Especially like if you have post-trauma from growing up with a narcissistic parent who always made you doubt yourself, who always questioned who you were, you need to be your best friend here and start to really be the adult to your emotions, okay? So one of the pillars to overcome helplessness is developing recent evidence of I can and I trust myself. So even though this was a cute little fairy time management for fairies party, you really are also adding more and more evidence that you're freaking awesome. Okay? So imagine what you could complete if you kept up the momentum and made these tools part of your daily life for another month or 2 or 6 months. Okay, so ta-da! This is not the end of the webinar, but this is just one little, if anyone wants to sign up, so you keep having access to the resources, you keep coming on the monthly Zoom parties, you might have 1 or 2 depending on time zones, and then you get a live energy psychic reading from me, which is only $44 a month. If I start to open this up to other people outside of our community, it will be $88, and then I'm going to raise it up to $122 a month, okay, because it's really worth that. So I'm going to put in if anyone's jazzed up to sign up now, I'm going to put the link now so that that's done. Sorry. And if you have any questions, anything you want to comment or add, you can also come on live if you want to talk or comment. Maybe, yeah, just comment in the comments maybe, or okay, copy link. So this is the link for that. And if you want to sign up for But then there's one other thing you guys might be interested in, which includes it. So, okay, let me go back and that will take you to Stripe. And you can cancel anytime. You could just do 1 month and then be like, I don't want to do it again. Okay, you know, I just realized something cool about Stripe, ladies, if anyone's interested. I have a QR code. So I'm just going to show you. So I guess somehow if you scan this, you can pay too. So I'm leaving it up for anyone who wants to pay through that version of somehow scanning this, and it takes you to the payment plan, to the payment page. All right, that was that. Let's go back. Okay, let's keep going. No, wait. You guys, okay, we're going to go deeper into learned helplessness. I was just wanted to give you a bit of a resume of what you did, what worked, what to keep doing on your own or with us. So, and that's me at a W hotel in Switzerland, but I like the W for made to win. Okay, so the other thing I'm really kind of passionate about bringing up a lot more in our industry is loneliness and isolation. So if you've ever done any work around under-earning, hiding, biting, we isolate, we're lonely, we hide, we feel shame and guilt. And it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? The more we hide, the more we feel shame, the more we hide, the more we feel shame. So I want to bring it up because get out there, go to meetups, go meet people. Even if you don't feel ready, like make sure you don't stay home isolated. And what helps with the ping pong sisterhood is that you do have people that, you know, want to call you up and ping pong with you, and you can do it together. So the reason I keep supporting the ping pong sisterhood, or I keep doing free groups, is because meaningful connections with other spiritual women, earth fairies, right? While also making progress in your business, it's key, right? So if you ever want to do ping ponging with me or in my sisterhood, it's very structured calls where you do the visualization, you visualize the end result that you want, and then you regulate your nervous system on the phone. So just you and another person who knows how to do the exercises, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and literally people do it on the go. I've done it cleaning the house, cooking in the car, shopping. I've done it rollerblading. I do it. You can do it anywhere once you know how to do it. So what is ping ponging, right? It's when you have 3 very normal instincts that you were born with. So we all desire approval, we all desire safety, and we all desire control, right? We were born with those innate instincts. Like they're very natural, just like my eyeballs are creating, like all of our eyeballs, they're creating water. Like there's a water, you know, there's a mechanism in my eyeball that's constantly watering it. And that is just one intelligence, innate intelligence. It just is. So we also just want safety, control, approval. We want oneness, and sometimes we want separation, right? But I don't talk about those much, but those 3 are, you know, safety, control, approval are really important. And they come up, they get a little bit empty, okay? Those 3 jars, I put marbles in them because they're like our blood and our cells, okay? They get empty when we hand them to people or situations. So if we grew up thinking the man's the plan, my kids are the plan, my job's the plan, they will fill it up for me. If my child behaves, I'll feel in control. If clients come in to buy from me, if I have more money, I'll feel safe. If people approve of what I do, I'll keep going and have approval. This is where we believe in very big, juicy lemons that are not even real. So we bite into a lemon, we think the lemon's real, our body creates saliva, the body thinks you're eating the lemon, and it creates a chemical reaction, the saliva, but there isn't an actual freaking lemon. We believe in things like, oh no, no one's buying from me. I don't have any safety. Money is my source of safety, which is a big fat lemon, by the way. So you reverse it. So instead of feeling safe and manifesting more money because you do feel safe, you wait for money to come in order to feel safe, right? But then actually creates more situations where you feel less and less safe because you gave away your jar to the money or to the person, right? So that's why I'm a big advocate of like the man's not the plan, I'm the plan, because essentially we're always the one who needs to know where did I put my jars? Because if they're not in me, then the universe can't really guide us to situations that will fill them up. Okay? So what we do when we ping pong is we take the jars back, put them back inside you, and we fill them up to the brim. So that's why we feel so good after we ping pong. It's like, ah, I feel so light. So we desire, I want to, I see it, but I can't, I'm afraid, what's the point? Okay, there's oppositions and attachments. And the thoughts have been there for a long, long time. So we don't think to question them. It's like, I don't think I can do this. Who am I to do this? The end. Like, we don't think to question them, or we maybe question them, but like later or when we think it's too late. And it's actually become kind of like this helplessness is familiar, right? It's become part of our identity. So I've already talked about the biology of helplessness. It's safe, it's familiar, and it created an identity. So what can we do, right? So if you've ever heard of the baby elephants, they tie them up. This is a real thing. They tie them up when they're little, so that by the time they get really big, they don't even try to pull on the cord because they think I can't. So it kind of describes learned helplessness, because phase one is kind of like, what's the point? I've tried when I was little, I couldn't. I failed at trying to help my mom or dad. I failed at school. I wasn't up to par. So the beliefs, really the biology of helplessness, is we become that thought and we really believe that's who we are. And there's nothing I can do. I'll just have to accept it, right? Phase two is we realize, wait a minute, I can pull on the cord, right? But only as long as all my other elephant friends are saying you can do it, or they buy it, or they believe in it, or they're able, like they help me believe in myself, right? In phase two, there's a lot of like, oh, I can pull the cord, but I don't feel safe to. So they're waiting for validation externally. Okay, we still feel really fragile and tender. Okay, my son just walked in. Hang on. Phase three is, yay, I did it. I'm free. I pulled the freaking cord. But now what do? I don't know how to live as a free human being. Like, it's like we don't trust it. We don't trust that it's possible to do it. All right. Again, ladies, meaning it, recognizing it, accepting it will help you pivot from it. Okay. All right. Let me look at your message. So, am I operating out of thoughts based on truth, conditioning, or absolute neutral knowing or awareness? So, what I mean by that is sometimes we'll get a belief, we'll get a thought, and you've got to ask yourself, especially if you're really, really triggered, like, did I ever feel this way before? And did I pick this up from my mom or dad? Because truth is going to feel really light. It's going to feel really free. It's going to feel neutral. When we feel triggered, it's usually there's something there. Now, it doesn't mean ignore it and like move on, but if you feel triggered, there's usually something to go explore. And there's a pattern, right? That's been memorized that you want to explore. So I always say, like, if people trigger me, I got work to do because I'm believing in a lemon and the person's helping me see the lemon, right? They're helping me see what's back there that I'm not aware of, unless I work with, an RTT therapist or I go into hypnosis. So when you have these calls with each other consistently all the freaking time, your subconscious is like right there on the surface to help you hear all the limiting beliefs all the time. So you're no longer as kind of like, why am I not able to do that? You're able to hear the belief really quickly. One sec, ladies. So if you guys want to read that, I'm gonna mute for a minute. So phase one for us humans, instead of like, the elephant, sounds like that. I'm not lovable. I've done something bad. I'm bad. I'm not allowed to have desires. I don't trust myself. there's a lot of I don't know how in this phase. I tried, I can't, I don't know how. Okay, it must not be for me. Okay. And okay, so ladies, like this might feel like, oh my God, this is the end. Like I don't know, and I'll be stuck there. But honestly, if you clear the three fears of lacking approval, control, safety, you're gonna start to leverage out of it. You're gonna start to blow it up. It is a bit like balloons. You get to really blow it up and clear it up with the light. Okay. And then, so what was cool about this is when I worked on my desires recently in a ping pong session, I realized that my desires are my destiny and my destination. And I would never have gotten that mantra had I not freaking ping ponged on it. Okay. So there's a lot of magic that happens when you feel the pain, ping pong, you release, and then you get these beautiful new truths. Okay. I want to offer you an amazing pivot that I freaking love to do. So if you ever hear yourself think, I don't know how, you go, okay, that's the bottom of the pool or that's the wall. Where is the door to walk through? Where is the other 180? So if I don't know, is that 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock? What's at noon? And try to find I do know. And was it Jessica or Dorothy, I think. She said, oh yeah, Dorothy during the session in the last Zoom call we had, she said, I was on a call with the client and I felt so like an expert instead of not knowing. And she said it's because I was a finder, not a looker. So lookers look, finders find. If you keep being stuck in I don't know, try to find I know. Okay, and it's safe to know. Um, okay, we have a success story. Alexandra, she's taken my sales angel masterclass, and then she went on to do my course on how to sell high-end packages, which is selling your power. And we were ping-ponging together. And literally 5 minutes later, she sold a package with ease, a 3 months package, and she thought the person had disappeared, right? So that's how fast ping-ponging works. And you'll see a lot of testimonials from people who had the similar wins. Okay, and then that's the text she sent me. Phase two, and you can read it later if you want, but phase two is it won't come quickly enough. I want to be set free, but I don't trust that I can, so it won't come quickly enough. And what happens here is if anyone disapproves of us or people don't buy fast enough, we'll retreat. We'll go, never mind, this is not meant to be. So it's kind of like we can't see. Like, did you know that pineapples take 18 months to come out? The first pineapple. So when you see a pineapple plant, it just looks like a green thing. Like, you don't see a fruit for a long, long time. And, the fruit finally comes out after a year and a half. So that's why I have a pineapple near my desk, because it's like, if I believe with every ounce of my being that pineapple season is coming, so even though I can't see it, they know it's coming, where you reap the fruits of your labor. Versus, never mind, no one bought from me this week. That must mean nobody, I'm useless. We go back down to the helplessness. So the way you hack this phase, you guys, is you freaking take back your jar of approval from your clients or potential clients or Facebook. Okay, she needs external validation or she'll sabotage. So take your jars of approval back and realize that you just had approval yesterday. You had some level of approval last week, last month, last year. Most likely you're going to have more approval next week, next month, next year. Okay. So it's like if one person signs up for your course, keep going, make it real that things will keep getting better and better for you. As long as obviously you're not putting yourself in dire financial disarray, be responsible financially. But yeah, we don't want to be in denial, right? But if you keep clearing, believing in things getting better, not just like in fantasy land, but really feeling it until the money's in the bank, things really manifest. Okay, I'm gonna have a glass of water. We've been going for an hour. I think 20 more minutes and we'll be good. Are you guys liking this? Are you learning things? All right. Even if it's the replay, let me know. I haven't checked Facebook messages. Let me see. Okay, there are people on Facebook. Let's see. All right, cool. All right, so wanting control can be for some of us like a trauma response. Okay, so um, when I recommend, like, if you feel like I really feel out of control or you have post-trauma, really look at different ways to really individually heal that. I include something called tapas in my courses. That's a separate membership. Flaming Tapas has these great tools for post-trauma. But just make sure you get help with that because it's really connected to learned helplessness and post and PTSD are really connected. So this is a text from a client who was dealing with post-trauma with her mom because her mom kept being kind of a narcissistic mom and really difficult with her. And she says it was always playing in the background, like I would be found out. And it was that fear always. Anything I accomplished would be tainted by that nagging feeling that I had lied my way through to get it, even though I hadn't done anything wrong. And then she would undermine her progress. So this is when you have an internal freaking archetype. So an internal bully in your head, right? The mother, even though she's no longer in contact with her mom, her voice was still in her head. Okay. And even though she wanted to succeed and progress, the voice would be like, you don't know what you're doing, you're a fraud, you can't do this, even though this particular freaking client is amazing at what she does. She's such a winner. So when you recognize and you do this work, you'll hear voices in your head. You're like, wait, I'm opposed to success because I don't know what I'm doing. And then you'll be able to start noticing that it's coming from your mom or your dad or someone else, not you. Okay. So once you move through that, I felt like there was a bird on the window. We're by the beach, so we have a lot of what are they called? Those bird beach? I can't think of it. So she knows her launch works beyond needing absolute proof. She trusts good is coming and her work is worthwhile. She feels secure in herself. So that's a woman who's claimed back her approval jar, and she's gotten rid of the internal bully mother archetype. She's gotten rid of any archetypes who are like continuing to bully her in her head. Yeah. All right. And so after you ping pong, one of the affirmations I've gotten is people love me rich, which really helps my ladies get over feeling like I can't make more money, right? People love me rich. And other ones that came during ping pong sessions is you don't have to do more, you just have to be you. To know you is to love you. And I put those in my stories. And does this all ping ponging actually translate into sales and wins, right? So we were ping ponging with Eva, and she hadn't gotten any discovery calls in a couple months because she was in Europe traveling with her family. She comes back to Singapore. While we're ping ponging, she gets 2 discovery call notifications. She closed the sale, I think, the next day, and then another one the week after. Okay, and then this is another text from her of another 3 months package. So these are women, you guys, who absolutely had struggle with learned helplessness, PTSD. I'm not enough. They had never sold packages before. And then they ping pong, they do the work, and then they're able to make money doing what they love. Okay, and the big thing for Eva was you can be a mom who sells packages. You know, it was really a big identity thing for her. She really struggled with, can I really be a mom and also be a full-time RTT therapist? And when we got that she could, her body and mind, her body really regulated, like her nervous system regulated. Sorry, I hadn't told my son I was doing this. Okay. Again, like she was getting negative archetypes coming up. Um, not like the negative. So there's a couple archetypes, you guys. There's a bully, narcissistic parent archetype who can come in as a really mean archetype in your head. The other archetype is just you as a mom who doesn't want to work. So Eva struggled with herself as a mom, and her mother archetype didn't want to relinquish control of being the main caregiver, and she was feeling guilty for spending too much time away and not present. Okay. Okay, phase three. Phase three is you're like the elephant who's free, right? Like the elephant is now completely free, and you still can feel like, what am I going to do now? Am I worthy? Am I good enough? Do I have enough approval and security? Where is it going to come from? And there's a little bit of like wanting to quit and lack motivation and burning everything down to the ground. So there's a little bit of, never mind, I'll start over. This won't work. It's still kind of this noise, but it's not as loud. Okay. It's almost gone, but it's still a little bit there. Okay. So uh Elizabeth Eve, she had made $500,000 in as a coach in was it 2021, and then couldn't work again for a while because she was feeling really burned out. When we started working together it was last fall, she started to get going again. And I've seen her online. We only worked for about a month together, but she did the work, cleaned up all this stuff, did the archetype work, and then she started to have cells again. So the thing about that is it's like you only need one cell to prove to yourself that it's gonna work. Do you know what I mean? So that's why when I say, hey, ping pong on $100, then ping pong on 1,000, then ping pong on 10,000, because once you have that proof that it worked, you get to count on those gains. All right. I love Joanna. She's also in Singapore. So within hours, I received calls and emails from clients asking to work with me right away. I ended up doubling my income last week. What's cool about Joanna, you guys, is she was a marketing director in this big corporation in Singapore, and then she lost her job during COVID. We worked together on and off for almost a decade, literally. We started working together in 2012. So she really knows all the tools. And she got laid off and she started her own consulting company, and she's been doing amazing right off the bat, even though everyone told her like you should never go and do your own thing. Like you shouldn't be a consultant. Like she comes from a very Catholic, like, Asian family where she doesn't get to do what she wants, but she did it. She followed her intuition, her path. And I talked to her a couple months ago and she was traveling and having fun. So she's still using all the tools. Okay. So to overcome LH is you've got to, again, realize if it's learned conditioning, like the I can't is not the truth. It is just a thought. It's not who you are. Okay. You might compare yourself to other ladies on social media and be like, how come she can and I can't? That belief is learned helplessness. Just name it to heal it. Okay. Treat every trigger as an opportunity. Explore, get curious. Retreat to treat your heart is what I tell ladies to do over and over again. Investigate. And know there's a belief and an inner child. Be the leader. Be the leader of the part in you who's feeling scared. I didn't put her testimonial here, but she had a story with her husband. So she had a story that she was making 6 figures in corporate and her husband wasn't working, and she was kind of getting sick of it, right? I don't know if she was making 6 figures actually in corporate, I think. But she was paying for everyone, her husband, her child, she was paying. And then she's like, Alex, I'm kind of sick of that. I want to manifest my husband working. Within 2 weeks of ping-ponging on allow my husband to find a job, he got a photographer job that paid him $5,000 for each gig he had. So he started to bring in money pretty quickly. I have that testimonials. I didn't put it up. So again, go back to sisterhood, nervous system regulation, all the things, the 3 jars. Okay. All right, let's talk about identity. It's one of the pillars to overcome learned helplessness, and it's huge. Okay, so there's archetype work, nervous system regulation, approval, control, safety, right? Um, but then there's also your identity. Who do you feel like who am I? So most people will have goals and they think once I've reached the goal, then I will be an author or a full-time therapist. Then I will be a nomad therapist who travels around the world, right? But actually, first you got to be. Okay, first you be and then first you be your next identity and then you'll do. Most people have it backwards. Okay, they try to do and then be, but you got to first be and then you'll be inspired to do. Okay? So, for example, the student gets stuck buying more courses versus the expert may still buy courses, but to be more like a sales, marketing, like manifesting more of as the expert. And I've seen my students go from student to expert, and it's so badass because they go from I don't know what I'm doing to showing up and making money and really owning their expertise and selling packages. And it really happens. Okay. So identity work will speed things up. Okay. Goals won't really do it unless you first know your identity. So we become the sum of our daily habits. Yeah. So because the woman who wants to achieve those goals is not the same woman who has already accomplished them, you've got to hack. You've got to start thinking like the woman you want to become. Yeah. So how would if you want to make 100,000 a year, how would she think? What brand would she be creating? Would she show up as a student or an expert? Would she look for the answer already know? You start to think like her, act like her, be like her. Now, you may not know. It's kind of like you don't need to know how as you ask the question, as you journal. It's more of an exercise of like contemplation and expansion. You just act as if, think, what if? And you just ask the question to the universe and you just let it be something that comes back to you. Yeah. So who you say you are, who you believe you are is what you will attract, right? So the student gets stuck in the loop of learning, the expert gets paid to teach and mentor and sell. So the identity work I recommend doing also includes creating an archetypal personality you love. That's your next 2.0. So, okay, let me see if I have a slide on that. Yeah, major anxiety about business goals comes from this very issue, right? We try to achieve 2.0 goals, like my 2.0 goals, from being 1.0. And it creates anxiety because it's like there's a mismatch. Nervous system is like, I don't know how you're going to reach the goal. You're not a match for that. So instead of really spending so much time trying to heal 1.0, you can just decide to program your mind as the 2.0. Okay, I've already achieved it. Or you start to make a vision board, you start to upgrade a few things in your life, think like her, and do a few things. So this is my last little limited time offer. I created this course a couple years ago when I did a lot of archetype work. And it's about anchoring in the magic of your next vibe. Okay, so, and there's pictures of me, I was in Paris, but it's like 2.0 identity, getting more photos done. How do you have your emotional body regulated, ping-ponging, all the things. So the ping pong, it includes the sisterhood ping-ponging together. It includes archetype work. So you'll get the list of all the archetypes. You'll get to really work. We'll have 2 calls a month to work through some of those exercises. And the thing that's really important is you will nip it in the bud whenever you get anxiety or fear. You'll start to do the happy map or my healing wheel. And those are really short exercises to get your body regulated and to move out of feeling triggered. And this includes all of the other one, like the planner party. Okay, this includes the planner party, and it's 144 a month. But usually, honestly, this course I sold it for 11.11 last time I sold it. So I don't know. I want to help more people, so I'm putting it really low. You can cancel after 1 month, but you won't get every resource, right? The first month. So I recommend you stay 3 months to get everything, and then you can stay. So if people stay, we'll keep going every month. You'll get, you'll have accountability calls, ping ponging, all the things. So we ping pong on different themes each month, like because you may not know what you need to ping pong on, but when you're in the course with us, you'll have a bit more like flow. So any questions on that before? So I have one last piece. um, to do. So if you're watching and you're like, okay, so let me go over what you learned, right? Super quick before we finish. So you learned, let me go back to the beginning. Can I go back? We're almost done. Thank you for hanging out, ladies. I know this was pretty long. So you got to name the wall and create a door through it by naming it. Okay, if you recognize it, you can name it. I know I'm like repeating myself, but honestly, if you do that, you hear my voice next time you get frustrated. I'm on the frustration loop. It's okay. And you get to breathe. And honestly, just knowing that regulates your nervous system much faster once you know that. Okay, so you learned about the frustration loop. You learn that you may trigger your nervous system when you have a new idea or desire, and you may get into the biology of helplessness, and you may start to feel some kind of low, sticky, recurring emotion. They may feel it, and don't quit, but do stop doing what doesn't work. Yeah. You might want to start with the end in mind, plan tomorrow today. So if you know tomorrow or next week, you got to have a project completed, regulate your nervous system. Take some deep breaths, clear up any fears of lacking approval, control safety, reclaim your jars. And if you have a sister, connect to your sisters. Yeah, it will help with the oxytocin. If you join, the blessing ball of light, if you join our little group, then you get to keep the audios, you get to keep doing it with us. You got some of these you get to keep, some of those you download, you get to keep. So you can have the fear turnaround. This will save you so much time not to be stuck in fear. So intuition is really reliant on not being afraid. Intuition is reliant on having a very regulated nervous system. So keep that in mind. One of the pillars to overcome learned helplessness is continuing to have evidence that you can trust yourself to get it done. So planner party was really key to that. That's if you want to join us. Avoid loneliness at all costs. This gets the loop, the 3 jars, reclaim them, take them back, and the elephant. Yeah. Okay. And are my thoughts coming from absolute truth, awareness, or conditioning and learned patterns? Just be aware of that. Okay, those are the phases. Learned helplessness. When you start to get out of there, you get better truths. You get better ideas of how to pivot from I don't know to I know. And this is really about not waiting for anything to really be. So like as a generator, I will throw like a fishing line out with an idea. Yeah. And I'll see what people are nibbling at it. So there's a level of response that I do use as a more of a like as a generator in human design. Like if people are nibbling and interested, of course, that's what I'm going to focus on. But it's not coming from a place of fear. I know that at some point, like anything, I have enough evidence over years and years and years that I can align to something working out and celebrating it, living it, being one with it before it happens. Yeah. You may resonate with that as well. Okay. And then identity work, you guys. So identity work is start tapping into the woman who's out there, journal as her, feel her. What would it be? What would it feel like you're an expert? Start to get to know your next vibe. Just spending time in her, getting curious. Where is she? Make a vision board of her. Like, is she giving talks? Is she writing a book? Does she have 3 new clients every month? Is she selling packages? Like, just get to know her. Okay, ladies. So if you want to sign up for that, I'll post the, let me see here. Let me give you, hang on, let me show you how to do that. Yeah, here it is. I'm kind of learning how to do this. So my expertise is I love helping women learn how to sell high-end packages one-on-one on discovery calls. Okay, that's my jam. But I've also taught courses forever. So if you want more one-on-one help, and you also want all the sisterhood jazz, you can have both. I'll show you. 1 second. I'm trying to get the QR code, but it's not loading. So I'll just post the link. Yeah, it doesn't want to work. Okay. Let me copy. Oh, here it is. So if you want to scan to, it's $144 a month, and you can do the healing wheel, happy map, emotional regulation exercises, the identity work, literally things I do with my VIPs. Do it in the sisterhood together. Okay. So thank you for the precious resource of your time. I hope you got something out of it. It's a little bit like continuing to trust that the more you talk about it, the more you spend time in it, talking, thinking, living these tools, the more you'll have that understanding of like, oh, I know how to get out of a sticky recurring situation. So I am offering a couple, like 2 or 3 in the next couple of weeks, you guys, because my son's going to be on vacation again. These are completely complementary. They are my Quantum Queen roadmap. So you borrow my laser focused intuition, we read your energy, your subconscious blueprint, we find the one core belief blocking growth, sales, and visibility. This is if you kind of are ready to launch, to get out there, you're kind of like feeling stuck. Maybe you come from corporate and you're not able to launch, you want kind of the fast track. That's for you, okay? So the Quantum Queen roadmap is completely complementary, but then my one-on-one, I have been saying I'm raising the price forever, but I really am this year, like I'm holding it. These are my one-on-one next level freedom party. We do 12 one-on-ones in about 3 months, but sometimes I extend those to 4 or 5 months because not everyone needs a session every week. You have daily WhatsApp support. This is what we cover: how to get over yourself and let your offers launch, how to sell higher end packages. You get my script, what to name your discovery calls with you, how to post without social anxiety, how to overcome upper limit sabotage, all the things. And we do one-on-one hypnosis, okay? So that's still 55, but it's going up. It's going up to probably 88 before I go up to 11 grand. Okay, ladies? So that is it for today. Thank you for shop with me. That was way longer than I thought, but then I often do 90-minute calls. So here we are. Okay, love. So that was a fun planner party, and the group's going to close up in like a couple days after Easter. Have an amazing 3-day weekend. I hope you ladies have 3 days off like we do in France. And I will see you on the internet. Mwah. Bye, ladies.